It's time for
Against the Spread!
And it is brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Jess, what do we got?
Well. It's college men's ACC basketball tournament time, and somehow Notre Dame has gone on to the second round. They're playing North Carolina today. I don't watch a lot of men's college hoops, but I do watch Notre Dame, and they are not very good. They got away with one yesterday in the first round against Pitt, a controversial foul call at the end of the game, and so they are a 10.5-point dog against North Carolina. Taylor's Tar Heels. So I'm taking Taylor's Tar Heels to cover that.
Wow.
Against the Spread!
Billy, bring us home.
I'm going to head on to the ice, and my team, the Anaheim Ducks, wow. They don't have the best record. They only have 63 points in the Western Conference, but they're taking on the Utah Hockey Club, just ahead of them in the standings with 67 points. Now, here's the thing. We're 3-0 when we take the Ducks in against the spread. Not because they've won all those games, but because they've covered. And in hockey, essentially every game is a 1.5 point or goal spread, right? Now, how have they done against each other head-to-head? Great question. They have played 2 times this year, October 16th and December 22nd. Both times, the Anaheim Ducks came out victorious by a score of 5-4. In October, it was in overtime. In December, it was a shootout that decided the game. Either way, 5-4 is only a 1-goal difference. And here, games in Utah Hockey Club is favored by 1.5 goals. They haven't beat the Ducks yet this year. In the last 5, both teams are 2-3. You know what? I'm not going to say that the Ducks are going to win, but I am going to say that they're going to cover. Ride the Ducks. You know what we say here at Against the Spread?
Against the Spread?
Ducks fly together. Woo!
Against the Spread!
The Quack Attack is back, Jack.
College hoops, we are doing a Sunday live stream. We should not be.
Why not?
Because I believe it's the least informed college basketball selection show that there has ever been.
That's why you tune in, because we're going to be having fun.
Wait, is Stugotz going to be here for it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Then it can't be the least.
It's a good question. But on Sunday, we are doing a live stream during Selection Sunday, and we're going to have an assortment of surprises for you. I'm also going to be surprised by them because I was dragged into this because I'm pretty sure Billy's just trying to agitate me by giving me away as a reward at the end of our own March Sadness tournament, which over the years has been deteriorating.
Well, I mean, because of your attitude, I would say. You're setting this up like this is terrible. If we were to embrace this as, we could as a show, this would be great. I would advise people to go to LeBatardAF.com if you want to be part of this year's tournament. I went through late night yesterday. I was watching the videos, and I kind of was viewing it as though I was conducting job interviews while I was watching these videos. And it was really giving me a glimpse into who I would hire at certain positions. And I don't know if you guys would agree with my hires, but I was on the hiring committee last night, and I will say this. We got some options here.
Wow.
Okay, so if I were you guys, I would get in because I will tell you this, and I don't want to create any urgency here, but we're going to be ranking these people the next, I'd say, 2 days. So if you want to get in, I think today is kind of right around the last opportunity you're going to have. Unless you want to do tomorrow, then maybe we'll check it tomorrow. But we're starting to rank these teams, and lo and behold, we have surpassed the 64 entrants that I was hoping that we would get. So we're gonna be eliminating people. Right now, I got 2 folders. You're gonna want to be in one of the 2 folders. The 2 folder options right now are approved, and the other option is reviewed, not approved. That's the folder you want to avoid. Don't want to be in that one. So come in, send a video, LeBatard AF, submit, and tell us why you should be watching the game with Dan, or why you're the biggest fan, or really whatever you want. Because I've learned in watching these videos, some of you are not sticking to a script whatsoever. You're just talking about whatever you want.
What are the rules?
Be funny.
Be 30 seconds or less. Like, really is the most important rule.
Telling you funny's your best way onto
the
show.
Be you. I would say be you, because there's a lot of, if I'm going to tell
Boston
you.
University?
Billy, don't. I'm going to say this right now. Don't be you.
No, be you, because I'm going to tell you right now. The reviewed, not approved folder is filled with some funny guys that were not very funny. So if you're trying to be a funny guy, I'm not sure how you're going to do on this job interview. So if you want, I would even say, if you're taking this seriously like a job interview, maybe you wear a suit. Maybe you dress to impress. Maybe you dress for the job that you want.
Try, in other words.
Not try. Don't be yourself.
Don't try.
How about
Unless
this?
you're funny and then be yourself.
Here's the best advice I can give you. Try to be yourself or the version of yourself that you think I would pass through to the next round, whatever that means, in 30 seconds or less?
Billy, I would pay money to commission a Pretty Woman style montage of you watching these videos and shaking your head no.
It's very sad. I had all the lights out because it was after bedtime in my house, and light gets through the cracks of the doors. So I was literally just sitting in the dark.
8:30?
It was after ice cream time?
Dude, it was like 8:40. It was a late night. It was a late night.
Do you have like a John Gruden closet with like mounds of tapes and then just screens? And you're
No,
watching
I have an office that I could have done it in, but I decided I'm going to do this on the couch. But again, it was pitch black, and the only light was coming from my laptop last night while I was watching these videos. It was very sad, if I'm going to be honest with you. It was a very sad night.
It feels a little sad.
It was.
You
yeah.
hiding under the covers.
We put the sad and sadness last night in the Gill household,
All right,
yeah.
All right. So Billy Gill is working hard on a tournament. The big reward at the end is you get to watch the game with me.
Well,
I don't
no,
even
no,
want the
and-
obligation of having to watch the game.
meet
Never
and
mind
greet.
with somebody.
Can I tell you something? And I'm going to break the fourth wall here. And I shouldn't,
Uh-oh.
Well, don't then.
No, I want to hear it.
I just want you guys to be
It's
in on
too
the
late.
process. So I was doing this, and the thing is now I believe this is going to lead to a lot of fraud in these videos. One of the people that I passed through was submitting a video from Alaska, and very clearly from Alaska, outside in the glaciers, drinking coffee, making his pitch as to why he would
That's a
be
good
here.
start.
Yeah.
Good start.
I honestly thought I'm going to pass this through and leave the fate of this person up to the fans just because I want to see logistically how we're going to arrange to get someone here from Alaska. He was on the fence, and I said, you know what?
Oh,
We didn't promise like
Hold
first
on.
class tickets.
Well,
though,
no.
right?
Whoa, whoa,
Greyhound.
whoa.
You
Oh,
gotta
dude,
leave
a
now.
Greyhound?
you got to leave now.
Yeah.
Cruise,
Anyways,
a 30-day cruise.
Start heading out.
LeBatardAF.com
All the way
if
around.
you want to submit a video here. And join us for the fun.
I'm here for this guy doing the, what is it, St. Peter's run to the Final Four, just solely based on you're in the middle of nowhere.
I've just noticed, Billy, a couple of times while promoting this, that one of the things he keeps doing is, well, the fans can vote for whatever it is that they want.
Yeah,
So
it's a fan voting thing.
So you can vote for somebody that you'd simply find funny sitting next to Dan for an entire game. Like,
oh, wow.
It's
Yeah.
up to the fans. This is democracy.
That would be the best outcome.
Well, you know what?
This is what he's trying to do.
Pro-democracy. I'm not going to apologize for that.
Billy, I'm going to apologize to you. You're right. Be yourself. Because if I know how the depths of the weirdness of our fan base goes, I want the weirdest.
I'll tell you
dude
this.
next to Dan.
We have a type. We definitely have a type.
Dude.
I mean, steak sauce isn't going to win.
I haven't seen steak sauce yet. I don't think. I
Great,
think
more steak sauce talk.
sat this out.
I always
Yeah.
love when that happens. Can we do stat of the day, please?
Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day.
Dan, with the Cavs come from behind victory last night against the Brooklyn Nets, they have now won 15 games in a row for the second time for the second time this season. In NBA history, only 5 other teams have done that. Won 15 plus games in a row twice in the same season. The last team to do it was the 2006-2007 Phoenix Suns, where I was employed.
Wow, a self-involved
You
stat
did
of the
right.
day. You did that just to celebrate you. They've had 3 12-game winning streaks, which suggests that they...
What did that team win? I mean,
61 games.
yeah, but what else?
Cute.
We won David Stern's interpretation of what coming off the bench for a fight means.
Oh, that year.
That was that year.
That was the best. That's the best Phoenix Suns team there's ever been. Better than the Barkley team. There's a Suns team that made the final.
Yeah, there's 2 Suns teams that made the finals. The Devin Booker, Chris Paul team most recently, and then the Barkley and 93 team. And it's funny, on Oddball, which you can check out Monday through Thursday on DraftKings Network, me and Izzy, we interviewed Channing Frye yesterday, asking him about questions about the Suns, about the Cavs, putting him under the spotlight, right? for him to defend the Cavs. And he said all these platitudes, and he thinks this team's going to win the championship. And, I mean, he just kept praising how, like, this is unprecedented what they're doing. And then I asked him, so if they played the 2016 Cavs, they'd beat you guys, right? And he said, oh, hell no, right? And so that's what I feel like when I talk about, like, those Suns teams. I think that was the best Suns team ever. But I'm pretty sure if we asked Charles, he'd tell us that he'd stomp us.
You just opened up a door for another game. Channing Frosty. Channing
side salad.
Channing Junior Cheeseburger.
That's what I said. Channing McMuffin.
Channing Jr.
Channing
Jr.
Channing Nuggets? What are the Nuggets called?
Channing Happy Meal.
Well, now you guys are going cross brands.
Channing con leche.
Oh, we got another one.
Hey.
Channing Bacon.
Channing Bacon. There you go.
Doesn't ring. Doesn't flow
No,
as
it's
well
not
as
the same.
Kevin.
Or Frye.
Did I hear Jessica threatening Southwest Airlines earlier?
I mean, God, it is just the shitification of America continues. Private equity taking our precious consumer-friendly brands and companies and then making them just like every other company that is extracting every last penny from the consumer. They are getting rid of their free bag check policy. One of the only reasons you would ever fly on Southwest.
Also,
Because
2 reasons. I like a line. I like getting in line. Like, what am I? I'm 17. All right, I'll stand right here. Thank you.
You like the
getting in
open
the line?
seating?
Oh, I'm 17. I'm 6. Oh, which number are you? What number are you? You're 12? Or you're supposed to be up there. What are you doing back here? Get up there. You guys don't do this?
You like this?
I do like it. Like the whole, like the moment of what number are you? And you have to ask people, oh, I'm 6. Sorry, I'm up here.
Do you follow that rule? You strike me as someone who's like,
I don't like it when
B1 through 30, and you're like, I'm B60, but
I don't like it when somebody's not in the
you're
right spot.
no, Chris, you're a floater for sure. You're kind of
absolutely.
hovering around the middle point where you know you're
I
supposed
go
to be way in the
exactly
back.
where my number is. I'm 7. I am like, oh, this is 5 and 10. I am standing right in the middle, right where 7 would be.
Respectfully.
I don't believe you.
Respectfully. Bull.
I'm telling you, it's Southwest.
Get them chickens out.
All right.
Get them chickens out.
Yo, chicken time.
I don't like this new development of one chicken coming in the defense, right? They're the fraud chickens. There's no public defender chicken in there.
The Chickens used to be undefeated, but then I think they got beat the other day by Taylor, and it was the first time the Chickens have ever been beaten, and they've and they haven't been the same since.
That's
I would
an
say
upset.
yes.
Taylor.
That's an upset that would shake any franchise.
There was something. I think that's what happened. The Chickens used to be undefeated, and then very quietly, the Chickens took a loss out of nowhere.
Some might say they came home to roost. It's a writer.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways, Southwest used to be the budget airline where you want to get away. It costs $80 to fly from Midway to Phoenix, Sky Harbor, and you get 2 free bags, and you don't have a seat. You probably sit in the middle somewhere in the back because you forgot to check in 24 hours ahead, or you remembered, but there were so many people that paid for the early bird check-in that you were still in B35 anyways.
Bastards.
Now it costs a ton of money, and you got to pay for bags, apparently. Why would you ever fly Southwest?
And they're going to do assigned seating, too.
It's just a regular airline now.
It's just
but
a
they're
regular
just all
airline.
the same aircraft, okay? And like their system is also still ancient because they had that huge outage a couple years ago because there was a snowstorm and they do a different thing than every other airline and they go from city to city to city instead of having like these major hubs or some. I remember reading some deep rabbit hole about Southwest and why they couldn't recover from this big snowstorm. So assuming they haven't updated that yet, maybe they have. It's just like, why would you do this?
You guys ever learn something in school and then think, when am I ever going to use this? And then like decades later, it's like, oh my God.
Yes, literally everything I learned about the Cold War, but go on.
Da-dun-dun. All right, so I did a case study on Southwest when I was in business school, right? And so their whole thing was based on 2 things, right? Or 3 things. Number 1, they don't have unions, right? Number 2, they have the same aircraft, as Jessica said. Every single plane in the fleet is a 737. Why is that? So that way, if anything goes wrong, they can just slide another plane over. If there's a part, every single Southwest hub has that part because it's all the same plane. And then number 3, at the time, this was right. This has been right before the housing crash, or right around the time of the housing crash. They had shorted. They locked in on the gas prices. So when oil prices spiked for everybody, they stayed low. That's how they had the low fares. Now, in time, that ran out, right? And so the oil prices started going up, fuel prices started going up, and so their fares started going up. But they still were able to get around it, like I said, because of lack of unions and because of this ability to mix and match around. But what's happened, and particularly since COVID, is the traveler has become, quote unquote, more sophisticated. The CEO of Southwest talked about this. People want perks like an upgrade to first class, which obviously Southwest doesn't have. People want the ability to choose their seat because of what Jessica described. No one wants to pay. If I'm paying the same fare on a Southwest flight as I would a United or American flight, and I have to risk maybe sitting in 32B, not such a great proposition. And so what happened was they had an advantage early on, but their advantages are running out. So even now, as they're rolling out new 737s, those 737s are still less advanced than the equivalent from American and Delta and the other planes. So basically, for the same fare, I'm not getting quite the same experience, and that's why.
So Jessica's out. You're out because this is the last straw for you. Once you've charged me for my bags, that's it, Southwest. Your days are numbered. What's the nature of the threat?
Yes, that it costs now probably the same as any other airline if you have to fly with multiple bags. It used to be like you bring a big suitcase and your golf clubs, and they'd both be free.
Jessica,
that costs like $80 on United or American.
You want me to hit you with some
unless you have status.
Some more hard facts here. You know the Wanna Get Away fare that everyone loves, the $80 from Midway to Phoenix? Now there used to be no change fees, right? And same-day flight change. They got rid of those.
What? Okay, so like all of college, I used to go to as many away Notre Dame games as I could go to, and I would do it super cheap. I would drive to Midway from South Bend, fly on like a $60 flight. I'd book like the 10:30 p.m. flight on Southwest, and accrued all these miles. So and you could change it at the last minute, and if something comes up that's cheaper, you can keep the difference, and like there's a credit, whatever.
Yep.
Like it was super cheap to fly anywhere domestically, especially if you went out of like smaller
that's where they used to fly in.
Yes,
that was also
airports.
One of the things they used to keep the prices low. They flew into the unpopular airports. I remember when they didn't go to LaGuardia or JFK. You had to fly into Long Island Islip.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I remember when they didn't fly into, I don't think they flew into O'Hare. They were just Midway.
They just started flying out of O'Hare, I think, in the last like 2 years.
Yeah. Fort Worth, no. Dallas Love Field. Yes, right? So that was their whole thing. And all of those things slowly but surely have fallen by the wayside because guess what? No one wants to fly into Islip. They want to fly into
Why did you did you say it wasn't a paper? What did you do on Southwest? Like what is it?
Case study.
But why were you doing a case study on Southwest Airlines? Can you guys look up something for me? My understanding is the original premise for Federal Express was submitted as a thesis in college and got a C- as a business that would never be able to function, Federal Express. Why is it or how is it that you came to be doing a case study on Southwest?
You've never sounded older than calling FedEx Federal Express.
I'm sorry.
We forgive you.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's an okay thing to
Thank you.
Okay mistake. We accept.
Yep.
Thank
we
you.
accept your apology.
The young people accept this.
Yes.
How did
We knew what you meant.
How did you?
I'm not
get
gonna
to
lie.
be-
I was like, "What the hell is he talking about?" And then I was just like, "Oh."
Then when you're in business school, it's basically just case studies. They take businesses that are successful, some businesses that aren't successful, and you do a whole like deep dive into what made them great or what made them not great.
Well, let me ask you this question as someone who cares about the business of basketball. Did you see what Brian Phillips wrote? I think he wrote this for The Ringer. It was a story about how it is our consuming habits have changed, specifically as it relates to sports and basketball. And when we talk about ratings around here, and I generally hate ratings talk as emblematic of anything, but ratings talk, when it's paired with the changing habits of viewers in basketball, who are basically not just basketball, but we are, many people, consuming sports through tweets, through data points, through clicks, through clips, through reels. through highlights, not necessarily games. And I'm not sure that's bad. As long as the economy of interest gets fed, I don't think it matters that our habits are changing so much that we are often consuming sports, many people, without watching the games. They're just getting cliff notes.
Dan, it's awful for one simple reason, and this all goes back to the NBA issue with the ratings, which is we can't monetize that, or at least not to the scale that we can monetize TV ratings. And so while Brian Phillips wrote this wonderful piece, it's pretty much echoing something that I said, I think, on this show maybe 3 years ago, where I told the story of we had a caller call in. I was doing my SiriusXM NBA radio show. Caller calls in and he says, I listen to SiriusXM NBA radio every single day. I follow all the newsbreakers, Brian Windhurst, Chris Haynes, Mark Stein, all the guys, right? I'm reading all the opinion pieces and then the deep data analysis from Kevin Arnovitz and from Tom Haberstroh and Zach Lowe. Every day I open up YouTube and I watch the game shorts and stuff. I'm on Instagram. I'm watching all the highlights. He's like, this is someone, I said, this is the perfect customer. He touches our product on every level. And then he said, I haven't watched a game in 2 years. So the number one way we make money, the number one place we make money, that guy does not consume there. But all the free samples at the mall that we give out, the Costco samples pretty much, he's devouring them. He's going to Costco every day. He's getting all the free samples, but he's not actually buying anything in this analogy. And so
it doesn't matter, though. Television's paying for the games. It doesn't matter whether that person is consuming the games the way you want them to. You'd like their dollars eventually, but you get their dollars if we're doing a spectrum of that person isn't the norm. That person is one of the changing ways of how it is that we consume this stuff. As long as you have both, as long as you have television paying for that product and you have the interest over here, what difference does it make?
So that was the prevailing theory over the last maybe 8-10 years, right? But then we got our first kind of like crack in the permafrost, if you will. And that's David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, saying, why do we need to play for the NBA? That's a lot of money. We could take that money and spend it on other things.
He recently defended that decision, incidentally. Recently said that was good. He said we've gone into other sports and we've saved money over there.
And the shares have gone up. Like they're at least in the short term right now.
I wouldn't look now.
Yeah, now's not exactly
Been a brutal
the
week.
time to
Don't
look.
look now?
Yeah, it's been a bad week.
At Yale in
That's
1965, Frederick Smith wrote a paper in which he outlined that there would be hubs and spokes that would help create something that eventually would be FedEx. He started it in 1971 after serving 4 years in the Marine Corps in Vietnam. He fed into the story that this paper received a C. But in fact, there's no way to verify it. He later, in a 2002 interview, said that he doesn't really remember what grade that he got. So for 40 years, this story perpetuated and continues to this day, Dan, 20 years after he clarified. That was back in 1965.
And now his son is the offensive coordinator for the Steelers.
Yeah. Sunrise, sunset.
Mad Dog looks smoldering on First Take. He's going Silver Fox. He's going a lot of gray stubble, and this is the best that he's ever looked on television.
That's a good look, Dan.
Yes, Mad Dog has totally reinvented himself and has become a juggernaut here in the modern age.
Isn't it amazing in the history of mankind? We went from a time where beards are cool, and then all of a sudden beards aren't cool, and then beards are cool, and then beards aren't cool, and now beards are cool again.
Are they? Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are beards cool again, yes or no?
Look at how many people have beards. Like Mad Dog would never have had a beard 10 years ago.
I think they're widely accepted in professional settings now, where maybe 20 years ago it was like you had to, even the Yankees changed their facial hair
because
policy
of J.D. Vance.
Do you guys have any reaction? We're late in the show today and yesterday. I'm not going to say that anything around Tiger Woods happens quietly, but Tiger Woods ruptured his Achilles. Tiger Woods has not been golf relevant in a long time, although he is still obviously very, very famous. And the resume is something that's going to endure. He will draw crowds wherever he goes for the remainder of his life. But to hear Achilles tear and then to hear him say it went well, I'll be back soon, I just thought to myself, no, that's all over. Like everything there is over. Once we've gotten to the Achilles portion of I've had bad back and everything else, doesn't that just signal that that's the end of everything going on well with his body?
No, Dan, because you got to understand, Tiger Woods now has a blueprint he's got to follow. It's LeBron and Bronny, and now he's got his own little Bronny, and he's got to play on the tour at the same time as Bronny. And that's what the new thing is now. Every great athlete you see, now their new mission is to do it long enough for their protege, or not the protege, their prodigy?
Their prodigy.
Progeny. That's the word I'm looking for. Their progeny to compete with them at the same time. That's the ultimate flex, right? It's like, how great am I? Oh, yeah. That thing that came out of my ball sack like 15, 18 years ago, now it's doing the same thing I'm doing.
I don't know that he'd phrase it that
That's
way.
how he phrased it.
I mean, it really didn't come out of
It came out of his ball sack.
directly.
Well, it took a route.
There's two.
But it started in his ball sack.
Well, okay.
Part of it.
Ball sack sports.
I don't think you can give his ball sack even half the credit, really.
Not half the credit?
Maybe 49% to his ball sack.
I think we
And that's being
get
generous.
a little 50-50 action. A little 50-50 action. It got to start in there. It starts and then it heads somewhere else, but it starts here.
Where does it
Part
head?
of it.
Where does it head?
So Tiger, did he get hurt in his own digital golf league, TGL? Because he's saying that he didn't, but that's all the activity that we've seen him doing lately. But he also then can't go out and say, I got injured in this league that I started, and you guys should still watch it, and it's fun, and no one ever gets hurt, right?
I've been to one of his putt-putt courses, which is called Papa Shot? Papa Slot?
That has nothing to do with TGL. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Let's see where it's going.
No, it's not going anywhere. Pretty
It
much
could
died
be.
right there. Nope. Did you
Papa
see? He wanted to
something.
get in there, didn't have anything, burped out a couple of words, nothing made sense, and he just bailed on the whole thing.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
You're good.
I'm not recklessly speculating anything. I'm just asking if
You're
anyone
saying there's a cover-up with Tiger Woods.
No, I wouldn't. I didn't say that. I'm asking why you guys aren't saying that. Yeah. Why aren't you guys saying that is what I'm asking.
I'm not saying it because he didn't, I don't think he said where he tore it.
No,
He
I
was
think
just
I think he said I did. I definitely didn't do it here.
He was
I
like,
did it
my
at home.
Achilles hurt, and I went to the doctor, and they're
Yeah.
like, by the way, it's ruptured.
I believe he said in ramping up for this upcoming season.
Yeah, he wanted to play later, I think next month. But
He'll play with Charlie. Like the Golden Bear is out there for a tournament a year. You know what I mean? Like
Jack
he
Nicholson.
he just has to be out there for
Jack Nicholson hasn't played a tournament since probably
Jack-
2002.
Jack Nicholson
Dude,
has never.
Jack Nicholson
Hold on.
shows
Nicholas-
up.
Jack
Guys,
Arnold
I said-
Palmer, whatever the hell his name is, whatever.
I just purposely up Chris. I said Jack Nicholas earlier when we were talking about A Few Good Men, and no one corrected me.
I thought you were doing
So
that
then
on
Jack-
purpose. I thought that was a
She
joke.
makes
You
so
made
many
me- you
references
made me
during a
laugh.
show, it's impossible to keep up, honestly. The Lil Wayne one today was incredible.
Chris, I got your ass.
When did Billy think Jack Nicholas last played in a tournament is what I want to
Dude,
know.
he's like Jack Nicklaus or Arnold Palmer, one of them is always out there. Like
At Augusta, Arnold Palmer's no longer with
Oh,
us.
we did the Lucy.
On who?
Arnold Palmer.
Where'd he go?
Wow. Arnold Palmer is no longer with us.
Dead?
Yes.
He lives in the drink, though.
The old golfers would come out to the Masters and hit the first tee shot. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, they go out there, they play, they walk around after 2 holes, they're like, oh, my back, and then they stop. He can do this with Charlie. And now that he has his computer digital golf simulator, he goes out there, TGL, like, he could definitely play with Charlie. Wasn't Charlie throwing him chicken nuggets the other day?
They have played together. Charlie got a hole in one. Is a whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
guys-
He means on the PGA Tour. I get
That's
it.
what I
Charlie's
mean,
still
yeah.
very
we can
young.
get there.
Also,
The reason I'm not recklessly speculating about Tiger Woods getting hurt is because this is what Tiger Woods does. He gets hurt. He's just been like this. It's very unfortunate because he's one of the greatest golfers of all time. But this has been the
Bad driver.
story of his.
Multiple instances.
This
When
has
you
been
li-
the
Later in his
story of
career.
his career for like 2 decades now. Is that he's had all these injuries, probably from being really good at golf and the way he plays golf.
we're burying the lead here. The real issue is that his son's name is Charlie.
What?
Gotta be Tiger Jr., man.
Dude, I have such a good idea, and I'm wondering if
Tiggy.
you... I think only Amin will follow me on this one, because it's kind of out there, this idea. It's been a while since we've heard any headlines on these people, right? Dude, Liv should sign Charlie Woods.
Wow.
And then you just put Woods on all of your like promotional stuff going forward. You throw a boatload of money at Charlie Woods if you're Liv just to get people out there. And like, is Tiger not going to go to support his son? Because that's crazy, right? You sign Charlie Woods to a massive deal if you're Liv, and you find a way to get Tiger there by kind of going around the system where Tiger wouldn't sign with them to begin with.
This is why I feel a little bad for Bronny, because we're talking about like
Liv should sign
we're mapping
Bronny.
out this chart for a 16-year-old.
Dude, Liv should
whose
sign Bronny.
Dad is the most famous person at his sport in probably of all time. Obviously, LeBron maybe second most. We're not going to do that debate today.
Why not?
But he never had a chance. Like, never had a chance at, like, choosing or being normal in their sport. It just, like, makes me feel – I don't feel the most bad for them. There's obviously people in the world I feel worse for. But this is why I feel a little bad for Brian.
Tiger's real name is Eldrick. I think we need to get Bronny and Charlie animal names, nicknames that replace their names.
What?
Tiger's real name is Eldrick.
Cub
We
Woods.
call him Tiger.
Yeah, Cub's a good one.
Bronny, maybe we give an animal name to, or Charlie can just take on the same thing his dad did.
Why does Bronny need an animal name?
Just because it helps.
No, I'm telling you what Billy said is accurate. We want to get Charlie some money, but you know how you do that? By not naming him Charlie. You got to name him Tiger or Tiggy or Tigger or something like Tigger Woods. Tigger Woods.
Eeyore Woods.
No, Tigger Woods.
that one's a
Tigger
bummer.
Woods. Tigger Woods.
Careful.
Because, well, yeah, Tigger Woods. How about that? Tigger Woods.
I've been scared for a
Did
minute.
J. Cole write his music or not?
Wild Billy Wednesday.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear a funny headline someone just sent me? Sure. Kevin Bacon spent a day as a regular person. Quote, I was like, this sucks.
I was going to just say Charlie Bacon. Put Charlie Bacon on the live poster.
Bacon Woods.
Bacon Woods.
Again, getting back to the story
Frye
from
James.
yesterday, though, the idea that Tiger Woods would now have an Achilles tear, when I heard that, you give me old athlete plus Achilles tear almost throughout the history of sports, I'm saying, okay, everything there is now over. Because
Wait. You can't do this the day after the Aaron Rodgers conversation.
I think that the Achilles tear to an old athlete is such a rehab, such a rigorous, difficult rehab that
That's Aaron's injury.
But Tiger Woods is how old now? He's not 42.
But it's a different sport.
I know it's a different sport, but you just
Davis
mentioned
Love the third's
49.
running around playing golf still, isn't he?
No.
I think he is.
Ain't nobody telling me like, oh, yo, I tore my Achilles. I'll never play golf well again. No, get out of here, man.
I just think his body has broken so many different times and ways that when he's mentioning Jack Nicklaus, which I assume you're doing because it's 18, he's got 18 majors, that's the reason you're still playing if you're Tiger Woods, is to try to get to 18 by any means necessary so that you in your 50s can have the moment that Jack Nicklaus had when he was what was the age Jack Nicklaus was when he won his last major?
They'll look that up, but I just want to point out that Mike Ryan, of all people, hit a hole-in-one. I don't think that sport is that hard.
Okay, don't
It's turned
do
into
that.
a hole-in-one. It's not. It was like 7 feet from the hole.
Okay.
You talking about the par 3 with
Yeah,
the driver?
with the white
Don't
belt.
do
yeah.
that.
Nicholas was 46.
It's
So
really
he's still alive.
But you know what Tiger could do if he wants to stick around is he could follow that path that you're not saying LeBron James is taking and just
Well,
do some PEDs.
He's wondering, no. You'd have to ask someone else to ask
Okay.
if. That's how
So
it
should
works.
I ask Dan if he wants to ask if Tiger should? Dan, do you want to ask if Tiger should take some PEDs here to recover from the Achilles injury?
You know, I'm okay with all people who want to use whatever medicine and science they can use in order to keep themselves feeling good and feeling younger.
I just want to hear Chris say Arnold Palmer again.
The Arnold Palmer's.
It's a tough one.
That's going.
I can't say it.
It happens
I've tried saying. I
sometimes.
was like, hey, I have the sound.
That's
to her,
happened to
and
me.
I can't say
That's
it.
happened to me.
The Arnold Palmer's.
Yeah.
Too many L's.
You've made it one word.
It should be Palmer. If it was Palmer, this would be way easier. Arnold Palmer.
We should
But
give him
the
an animal
Palmer-
name.
Tiger.
Played
The
it-
Arnold Palmer's.
Tiger Palmer.
Zebra Woods.
Zebra Woods. But that means his dad is hunting him. No, tigers don't hunt zebras.
How did you guys receive this news? How did you, Chris? You're the only golf fan among us here.
It's sad. Like, you just want to see Tiger at this point, and this means we're not going to see him.
This is the second time in the show today. First, Dan's like, no one watches college basketball. I'm sitting right here. Then Dan's like, no one watches golf. I'm sitting right here.
You watch golf?
Yes.
Charlie con leche.
The Arnold Palmer's.
Do you have thoughts on this?
Let's hear what Chris says about how he received the news.
No, I just said that I don't. It's sad that Tiger won't be seen. At this point, you're not expecting him to win. You're not expecting him to even compete. You just want him You want to see him start a tournament and finish the tournament. And it doesn't look like we're ever going to see that again.
For me, it felt like the crescendo and like the great moment was the Masters, and it kind of felt like it was great because we knew that was probably it, right?
But that teased you and was like, oh, is he going to be back now for?
Did
And it was just
did
like,
not tease
nope.
me a little bit. I was like, this is actually insane that this happened, and that was why, because I didn't think it would ever happen again.
When he's been healthy, he could still compete, but the health thing is just never going to happen again.
What does that mean exactly when he's healthy, when you get to the legendary parts of careers where the audience or the customer is experiencing the end of your career is sad? Like what? There are famous moments that I remember, and famous moments that are talked about in sports. It's Muhammad Ali is one I remember getting beat up by Trevor Berbick in the Bahamas. Willie Mays stumbling out of a batter's box at the end of his career. I don't know if this felt like that to you guys, but because of his age, because of a waning excellence that comes with that age, the only reason we're talking about hope here is because of what Amin does, which is, golfing's not that hard, but it is that hard. And it's hard on the body. And when you have back issues specifically, and then other stuff starts breaking down as well, he's already having difficulty just walking courses. He's playing with a great deal of pain in pursuit of whatever it is that he used to be.
This didn't feel like that because we didn't see the injury. We just saw the post on social media. We've had moments like that, where those times where he'd hit the shot and then just collapse on the course.
Right, or like watching him like walk Augusta and like you could tell he was just in pain.
Yeah.
You tell me the dude doesn't walk no more?
It's
Dude, he
hard
can't
to
walk
walk.
Augusta.
Greg Cody made the argument that he should be the only one allowed to use a cart.
Which I agree with.
It's the height of winter, but it's also a great time to gather with friends and enjoy some Miller Lite. That's right, Miller Lite has the taste you know you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just that beautiful white can and a great tasting beer for people like you and me who love the taste of beer. Because Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers, with simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors and that iconic golden color that we all know and love. And here's the most important part for me. I mean, I like all the things, but 96 calories and just 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces, Miller Time is always a good time. The original light beer since 1975 and still the very best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Hey, remember when Dan asked Amin if he hates God?
Crazy.
It was so wild.
I don't think of you as a spiritual person. Do I have that wrong? Like, I know that...
So we're doubling down on it.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I think hating God is too strong. I don't believe that that's what I said entirely.
Just doesn't
cynic
think God
of God.
exists. Yeah.
Yeah, cynic.
A God cynic. I was like, what?
Are you a spiritual person? Would you consider yourself a spiritual person?
How do you define a spiritual person?
You define it. I'm asking you.
Then yes. If it's my definition, then yes. But I'm curious what your definition is.
I think of you as almost inherently skeptical about everything. And so I don't think I remember having a conversation with you on Pablo Torre Finds Out where you didn't have much use for whatever the spiritual center of yoga was, for example.
We're talking about ghosts, man. Like I don't believe in ghosts. I've been very clear on that. If there were ghosts, then there'd be a lot more ghosts walking around. You're telling me like, oh, this woman died of heartbreak in a attic somewhere. There's a ghost there, but like all the slaves that died, they don't have ghosts. Like,
You ever been to the ghost tour in St. Augustine, Florida, though? Because that will convince you.
I've been to ghost tours all over this nation, man. I ain't never seen nothing to make me believe that there's any kind of life after death that exists in the same plane.
A cynic.
You ever been to ghost tours?
I really wanted to leave Dan out.
chicken alone as a chicken is great for Dan.
What kind of chicken was that? The accent? Lexington, Kentucky.
Juju, welcome. It is nice to see you. What are the fairest of all of the criticisms on today's show? I imagine that tomorrow we'll start the show by saying all of the things that we did wrong on today's show for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, first correction I have, if I recall correctly, the chickens were defeated by Jeremy Tachey's video for Tony Reality last week, not necessarily Taylor.
Still an
I know
upset.
he didn't want to bring that up.
Still an upset.
Yes, good correction. Thank you, Juju.
Hell yeah. And Dan, my brother, please, just take it from, certain wars. You got to learn to take the L, brother. We sat here. I'm ashamed to be a part of this 2 days in a row. Amin had great points and checkmated you around minute 3. But you kept it going for 25 more minutes. Come on. Where is the magic creator content? Does that button not work no more? Did we get rid of it? Because I thought we had a umpteen amount of times to press that button. Dan, and the fans of the show today, they said, Nathan Stacking from YouTube says, Juju, you can't tell Dan that the chat has been overwhelmingly positive about the show today. Dan is out here making a damn fool of himself with this LeBron take. NDA Vader from Twitter, yo, Le Batard Show. Dan is too smart to play coy about this topic. Darth Amin is right to call him out about it. This show is moving to OAN the past few days.
Oh,
I mean, the people have spoken, my brother.
that's worse than call me a God cynic.
Republicans listen to our show too.
And they buy tennis shoes as well, and which you got on Michael Jordan for that. And LeBron did a great job at speaking up sometimes. So let's just try to keep it fair. Let's just try to keep it fair because we did 25 plus 23 minutes yesterday on that, and not one mention of the Joker's heroic revenge game against SGA and the Thunder, where not only did the Joker step up, the entire team, the Oklahoma City Thunder team, not the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Denver Nugget team showed up. You feel me? From the first man on the bench to the last man on the bench to the training staff. They was wrapping ankles. Good, bro, we need to talk about nothing from that game, but we sit here with this propaganda for day 2.
Mm-hmm. That was a good second game, though. I had, after watching Denver slog through that first one against OKC in the fourth quarter, to see Jokic go and lead against that defense, lead the Nuggets with 104 to 140 points.
Well, Dan, I gave you this stat last week. The Thunder had lost only 2 games by 10 points or more all season long, which was tied for the record, and that was game number 3 right there, so they will not hold the record.
Belt to ass.
Belt to ass.
Also, you had a little bit of I know you were disappointed in Stephen A's first take response, but like you said, you were armed with the full story and information after the weekend, and so was Stephen A. Once Richard Jefferson and LeBron had that powwow with the hot mic, that's when Stephen A was able to say, wait, that wasn't about no damn LeBron. That was about Bronny. That's why we got what we got from Gil's Arena yesterday. Scorched earth, Stephen A. And so I think that's why you may have been disappointed on that Friday.
Okay, that's fair. See, Dan?
Hell
it's
yeah.
not that hard to be like, oh, okay.
You feel me? And also, the Joker of the day goes out to my big brother. I rocked his jersey today, Shaquille O'Neal, the Shaq Fu himself. How dare you sit next to Charles Barkley while he scorns the ESPN staff for not talking about the great teams? We're talking about the Lakers. We're talking about the popular teams, and we're not giving credit to the Cavaliers, bro, and teams like the Pistons who are having a great year. And then you do a disservice to Chauncey Billups as well as JP Bickerstaff by not mentioning the importance that the Pistons are having and the Trailblazers, who the Chauncey Billups are coaching right now. They're actually doing a good job right now. So you do a disservice for both of those teams by being flippant, talking about you don't watch this. That's what's the problem with this media. That's the big problem right there. I love you, Shaq Fu. I love you, Shaq Gnosis. But come on, big brother, build a bridge, get over yourself, and tune in to some Pistons games, because them brothers are doing a great job right now.
Juju, to be fair, when Barkley said all that stuff, he said to Shaq, "What's the name of that fool over there?" And Shaq said, "Who?" So Shaq wasn't really bought in on the whole argument from the beginning. That was really Charles' argument.
Yeah, well, I think that's what's wrong with the NBA coverage. That's why we have people around the world saying, I don't watch basketball no more. Combine that with these super teams, you tune in to the Orlando Magic playing the Toronto Raptors, you couldn't give a damn because nobody has you gotta love basketball, and all these stars are so clustered up together. Don't get me started.
All right, I want to talk about a couple of other things, but I also wanted to ask Amin what his opinion was on the idea that whatever you think of the lead NBA voices in this country, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Stephen A. Smith, if they're in your top group of NBA voices, they're entertainment more than analysis. It doesn't mean that they can't also do analysis, but the emphasis is on entertainment.
Well, we talked about this before, where people don't possess the skills to differentiate between what those guys say and do versus what great writers and reporters are doing, and just lumping it all as the media says this. When LeBron said that's the problem with the media, well, it's like, well, I know plenty of people who analyze and break down the game, who do all the things that LeBron claims. Hey, or Kevin Durant claims, hey, why don't you guys just talk about the game? Say, but yeah, you never mention those guys. You're part of the problem. You're taking your platform, your voice that goes very far, and choosing, instead of saying, you know what, I really enjoy the writing of Tom Haberstroh. I really enjoy the writing of Marcus Thompson in The Athletic and Sam Amick and guys like that. Instead of that, you're choosing to talk about the same four people over and over again. Well, there's no wonder why those guys keep getting raises and keep getting paid and keep getting attention and keep getting every show, because the stars are endorsing them whether they want to or not.
We've got to get to a few more things with Juju, and we'll have Amin in the rest of the week on basketball. But also, as part of this affliction, though, Amin, you've got those people who are entertainers talking about how many teams that have a real championship chance, a legitimate championship chance. So they have to invent other storylines, because you've got 4 or 5 teams to choose from as legitimate contenders.
Yeah, we've got, I would say, 6. There's 6 teams that are like legitimately have a chance to win a championship. And at that point of the year, yes, attention tends to wane on the lesser teams, because we're all getting ready to talk about these teams that we're going to be talking about through April, May, and June. The difference, and I think Juju is going to point this out, which is Detroit's been getting better and better. So a team like Detroit at the beginning of the year was probably not on Shaq's radar. Now should be, but because of the way they started, wasn't really there. Same thing with Portland. They're probably not going to make the play-in, but they're playing a lot better now than they were early in the year. Even a team like the Wizards, who I've been clowning all year long, they've been like roughly 500 over since trading Kyle Kuzma. So a lot of these bad teams are getting better, but the problem is for guys like Shaq, and I don't blame him on this one, you're going to be asked a million questions between now and June about the Cavs, about the Thunder, about the Celtics, about the Nuggets, about the Lakers, about the Knicks, maybe the Warriors.
You know what I mean? That was great. Like, I couldn't have said that better. I would definitely attend your funeral. I don't give a damn if it's overseas in Australia. I'm getting my behind on the plane. I would attend all of you guys' funeral, by the way. Like, I don't take it lightly.
Even
like,
Jeremy?
This means a lot to me. I know y'all don't have the answer if y'all would come to my funeral. I know the answer to that. But I would attend all of you guys' funeral, 100%.
Thank you, Juju. It's a dark compliment.
Fair.
Do you before we get out of here on polls and stuff? I think you've earned today the ability to give just any kind of life advice that you would like to give to anybody in the audience. It doesn't have to be in victory lap form, but if you want the floor to give any life advice that people can use, please have at it.
Yes, a brother named Ronnie H. hit me on Instagram DM, and I won't read his message, you feel me? But I think I'll just share the advice I was giving him, bro. Friendships are not easy, man. Even the best friendship in the world, marriage, starts off with a, hey, better or worse now. Like, you feel me? It's a part of that contract. Your wife, she's going to fart under the covers, bro. You got to get through that Dutch oven. And the same thing with friendships. Sometimes we go through things with our friends, and sometimes we internalize them instead of going to that friend and saying, hey, bro, do you mind changing this? Sometimes we'll be offended by a friend and we'll go to 12 people, 13 people and be like, that person, guess what that person did? That's not necessarily friendship. If you want to call yourself a friend to someone, you got to be one and give them an opportunity to be a friend back to you. Say, hey, bro, I didn't like how you did that to me. Can you change that? And that person now has the option to say, hey, no, screw you, get out of my face, and you don't have to waste time with that friend anymore. Go your separate ways. Or that person may surprise you and say, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Let me not do that again. And your friendship grows stronger forever and ever. And you know now you can depend on that person even if you drop the ball. Communication is key in every scenario. And just allow your friends to be friends. And they might surprise you and actually give you what you need.
Much easier to just talk shit behind your friend's back to 12 people.
Ronnie Honleche.
Yes, very inefficient way to do it. What kind of polls do we have? Poll updates do we have today, Juju?
Yes, sir. It's the person who says shan't an asshole.
101%.
91% of the audience says yes, he is.
Tatas.
Do you long for the day when you let off steam by dancing in a warehouse? 64% of the audience says yes, they do long for that day.
That script on that movie. Can you imagine that script? And now Kevin Bacon goes to the warehouse and just dances like crazy. Just what a shitty script.
I threw this on the poll because you guys were lingering in this. I thought you were about to ask it, so I just threw this for S's and giggles. Kevin Bacon's career is equivalent to Chris Bosh, Kenny Smith, James Jones, or Tracy McGrady. 37% of the Instagram audience says Tracy McGrady.
No way! Absolutely not. I'm not. You know what? This show has been disrespectful enough. You disrespected LeBron. You disrespected Shaq. Now you're going to disrespect Tracy McGrady. Good day.
Oh, wow. Good day. He hit him. Everybody hit him. Look out. Yeah, good day. Oh, my God. He punctuated it with a good day.
Those are your polls.